Women and conservation. Women-led efforts in natural resources and environment conservation. Imagine a world where the very people most affected by climate change are also the key to solving it. Across the globe, women are leading the charge in protecting our natural resources and safeguarding the environment. But here's the question for you. What happens when their efforts collide with the needs of their communities? How do we balance conservation with survival? In this video, we'll explore the powerful stories of women-led initiatives that tackle these challenges head-on. From the forests of India to the coastlines of Central America, women are the heart of conservation efforts. These women understand that conserving natural resources is not only about preserving wildlife. It's about ensuring their families and communities can thrive. In this video, we'll look at the geography, impact, and sustainability of women-led conservation efforts around the world. But first, let's consider what do women stand to gain or lose in the fight against climate change? Our first stop is in the Himalayan region of India, where women led one of the most famous conservation movements in history, the Chipko movement. The word Chipko means to hug, and that's exactly what these women did. In 1974, led by Gaura Devi, they physically hugged trees to prevent loggers from cutting them down. This was more than just an environment protest. It was a fight for their livelihoods. What drives someone to risk everything to save a tree? For women of Chipko, those trees meant food, shelter, and survival for their families. Their victory inspired the world, but it also raises questions. How can we continue to protect forests while meeting the needs of those who depend on them? Let's shift to Honduras, where a group of Garifuna women found themselves facing a new threat: advancing sand dunes brought by climate change. After Hurricane Mitch ravaged the landscape in 1998, these women decided to act. They planted over 3,600 native seedlings, cocoa plum, and sea grapes to create a natural barrier against coastal erosion. Here's something to consider. What if we allowed nature itself to be the hero in the fight against climate change? These women used the power of native plants to protect their homes and livelihoods. But could these kind of nature-based solutions work in your community? How can we better harness the environment's natural resilience to combat climate challenges? In Bangladesh, rising salinity in coastal soil created a water crisis. Women who are traditionally responsible for collecting water found themselves with no safe drinking water. But instead of waiting for outside help, they took matters into their own hands. Through the Bring Women into Action initiative, they began harvesting and filtering rainwater, creating sustainable community-led solutions. Let's pause here. Why is it that women, who are often the most affected by water shortages, are rarely involved in water governance? These women proved that when given the power, they can lead change. Could a similar community-led approach work where you live? How can you ensure that women have a seat at the table when it comes to managing natural resources? Next, we travel to Belize, where the Community Baboon Sanctuary Women Conservation Group is not only protecting black hole monkeys, but also safeguarding their community's livelihood. By managing climate-resilient farming practices and promoting ecotourism, these women are protecting both biodiversity and their own economic futures. Here's a question for you. Can conservation and economic development go hand in hand? In Belize, women are proving it can. But how do we ensure that the benefits of ecotourism and sustainable farming reach everyone in the community, especially in the most vulnerable? Can conservation efforts really be sustainable if they don't also lift people out of poverty? In Kenya, a group of young Maasai women known as Team Lioness is rewriting the rules of conservation. These women are the first all-female wildlife rangers team in the region, protecting elephants, rhinos, and other endangered animals from poachers. Their efforts not only save wildlife, but also create new opportunities for women in the community. Think about this. What happens when women are given the power to protect their own environment? For Team Lioness, it means they are not just fighting for wildlife, they're fighting for their community's future. Could this model work elsewhere? How can we empower more women to lead in male-dominated fields like wildlife conservation? But not all women see conservation as a solution. In the Kantanhez Forest National Park in Guinea-Bissau, women are facing a difficult reality. Wildlife conservation efforts are restricting their ability to grow food, leading to malnutrition and economic hardship. Their rice crops are being destroyed by chimpanzees and they feel left out of the decision-making process. This raises a critical question: how can we balance the needs of wildlife with the survival of the people who depend on the land? If conservation efforts don't consider the needs of local communities, are they really sustainable? What can we do to ensure the voices of women, those most affected by environmental policies, are heard? As we've seen in these case studies, women are the forefront of conservation efforts around the world. Whether they are planting trees to hold back the sea in Fiji, managing water resources in Bangladesh, or protecting endangered wildlife in Kenya, their actions are creating real change. But the road ahead isn't easy. So, here's the final question. What role will you play in this global movement? How can you support women leading conservation efforts in your own community? Or perhaps, how can you become one of those leaders yourself? The future of our planet may depend on the answers we find together. This publication was made possible through the funding provided by Global Affairs Canada under the Empowering Women and Girls project. The Commonwealth of Learning wishes to thank the contributors to this video: Kuntal D, Sandy Hertz, Francis Ferreira, Cyrus Kithuva, and Collins Amondi.